Hello, welcome to Las Vegas. In the jungle of my apartment, there was a leak in my ceiling, and they had to, building maintenance had to tear the padding from under my carpet, so everything is off in the corner there. It's awful, but it will be fixed shortly. While I was away in Las Vegas, in Atlanta for a few days on my days off, I got a lot of messages, particularly about the Goldfish Bowl question at interviews and hiring events. A lot of folks are going to interviews, face-to-face interviews, group hiring events. I know the airline is having one, I think on the 31st. And so people are getting anxious and reaching out for help. And I love it. I love answering questions, but I do seem to be answering the same question over and over again. So I thought I would film a short video. If we're both lucky, it'll be a short video about the Goldfish Bowl question. I know I did a face-to-face, an interview video, but I really want to focus particularly just on the Goldfish Bowl question here. So I wrote down some reasons why they do this Goldfish Bowl question. They want to know, can you speak comfortably and confidently in front of people? Can people understand you? Do you look polished? They're looking at your body. That sounded really creepy. They're looking at you and your physical form and physical presence, what you look like. Can you follow directions? We're going to spend some time on that. Are you quick thinking? And did you notice, I did not say, did you have the perfect answer? That will not be here. Well, I will touch on it, but why it's not here. So, can you speak comfortably, confidently in front of people? You are, when you're working, the first and sometimes the only face they're going to see frequently. You know, on a red-eye flight, it's going to be you and whoever walks up and down the aisle doing trash runs, you know. So if they're anxious or whatever, they're looking at you for your confidence and your capability. We are kind of the face for the company. In an emergency situation, they want to know that you are the person who can help them and take care of them, give them direction. In a situation that's not quite an emergency, say you have a seat duplication. There's two people who are sitting in 9E. How do you handle it? When you walk up to them, can you project that you are confident and capable and pleasant and that you can take care of the situation rather than someone who's like looking around for help or, oh, hold on, let me find someone who can take care of you. When you go to this Goldfish Bowl question, they're looking to see if you can present yourself as capable, confident, and comfortable. That's very important. Can people understand you? Now, I will talk a little bit about what my hiring event, Goldfish Bowl, was like. But in particular, there was one girl who spoke with such an accent that 500 people leaned forward to listen to what she was saying because no one understood a word she said. And I think she noticed this, and it made her all the more nervous. And so she spoke for like 5 minutes. And no one understood a word she said. I mean, it was a train wreck. But not only just an accent, but can you be understood even in English? I just non-revved from Atlanta back here to Vegas, and the lead flight attendant had clearly memorized all of her announcements, and she spoke them so quickly, so rapidly, it sounded like an auctioneer selling cars or whatever. She spoke so fast that I knew what she was saying because I have said the same words myself a number of times. But she spoke so quickly that there was no chance that anyone on that plane understood what she was saying. And the the position C, who does the safety demo, she reads the safety demo and the pre-boarding announcement, she spoke with such apathy. You could tell it was day 4, the last leg of a 4-day trip. This girl just wanted her bed. but it was like, hi. You'll notice that there are passenger safety information cards in the seat back pocket in front of you. Please follow along. So the lead was speaking at breakneck speed. It was like Fast and Furious. C is like, yeah, I'm probably on ketamine, you know? And B was super cool. I mean, he was great. But can people understand you? So speak clearly. You want to speak confidently. You want to speak loudly enough so that the people in the room can actually hear you. Have some energy, enthusiasm. Don't, like, my biggest failing in situations like this, my biggest failing is I sometimes come across like a golden retriever. I have so much enthusiasm. I want everyone to have such a good time. I'm like the dog that jumps all over you. And I'm good for about 10 minutes. And then you're like, all right, down, you know? So during the Goldfish Bowl question, I had to prepare myself to give a nice, clean, concise answer with some of the humor and enthusiasm that I try to project, but a little, you know. The next point was, can they hear you? I already touched on that. But I'm still going to talk, right? On our largest aircraft, we've got 228 people. Sometimes that PA system, you know, when you're listening for the captain to say the weather announcement or something, and he's speaking normally and then he cuts out entirely, or you hear this, you need to be able to speak clearly and loudly enough that people can understand what you're saying, feel that you're confident, but you don't want to shout, because there are times also that PA system is working just fine and it is like, oh my God, you know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you're making the initial descent announcement and it's like, oh my God, I was trying to sleep. So you gotta kind of balance that. To look polished, a big part of our job is looking polished, behaving in a polished manner as well. So, you know, if you're a lady, be a lady. You know, this is an interview. Look like you spent some time taking care of yourself. My first video, one of my first videos, is about the hiring process. I spoke about the first 10 minutes I was at that interview. I was helping a woman in front of me pin her blouse closed because her blouse was gaping. I mean, I could see her bra. She was not polished. You'll see people at the interview. I think most people had their makeup on point, hair was on point. There were a lot of brows. I don't know. It used to be all about landing lips, like red lips. But now it was just all about big eyebrows. But everyone's makeup was really on point. Everyone's hair was good. But some of the clothing, either they tried too hard or didn't try at all. Some of the guys were in suits that were so tight that I was surprised they could even lift the bag. Because during part of the interview, you have to lift a suitcase over your head. I'm surprised some of those people could actually move in their clothes. They were so tight. And there were girls that didn't remember that a skirt that might be mid-thigh when you're standing up, when you sit down, right up there, and then you get up and you got to kind of shimmy your skirt down, not a good look. Or when you are doing that overhead reach for the suitcase, if you're wearing a dress, that whole thing is going up. So, polished, you want to look good. You want everything to fit well, and you want to present yourself like an aspirational flight attendant. So polished is really important. In my company, we recently went through additional service training, and polished behavior and polished appearance was one of the major topics. So look good. They're looking at your body, not in a risque sort of voyeuristic way, but you know, I don't remember us being measured. I don't know if anyone actually had a measuring tape at my interview, but when you get up there, they're looking at you. Are you really 5'10"? and you know that you had to be 5 feet. In our company, it's 5 feet without shoes. You had to be 5 feet tall, but you're 4'10", wearing a 3-inch heel. They're looking, and they're going to know. In the United States, it is against the law to discriminate because of someone's weight or physical size. In this industry, there are certain restrictions to that you have to be able to fit in that jump seat. Now, this pops up all the time on Facebook too. Hi, everybody. I'm new to the group, or I want to be a flight attendant. It's my dream job. But do they hire curvy girls? Do they hire curvy flight attendants? Yes, there are lots of curvy girls. My airline, we're full of curvy girls. They're gorgeous. But there's a difference between curvy and, I don't even know how to say it, heavy. You know, you have to be able to sit in the jump seat, fit in the jump seat. You have to be able to have the harness close around you without a seatbelt extension. You can't use one of those. In a most modern aircraft, that's going to accommodate a lot of people, most people. But on our smallest aircraft, the A319, it's an Airbus aircraft, the seatbelts are small. And then they're a pain in the butt. You have to really do a lot of work to get that on. But the seatbelt portion of it is small. For me, I'm a 36 in most of my jeans. I'm a 38 in my work pants. I don't think that's obese, but I'm not a little person. And that seatbelt on a 319 just crosses over me. I have like this much room. And of course, the person who's before me is always a size 2, so I always have to struggle to open up that belt. But you can be curvy, but you can't be really big. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm not being very tactful here. One girl during the hiring event, and I saw her right away because she looked amazing. Her hair had this super cute little pixie cut. Her makeup was just flawless. She looked great in her clothes. She was wearing kind of like, it wasn't like a legging, but it was definitely something super close. But she moved as if she were a queen. She had this regal posture, and she moved through the room beautifully. But you can already tell, about to tell you, she's big. She was a big girl, big, not just curvy. And she was cut. And I'm sure it was because of her weight. I know it. And not that they were discriminating, but she just could not, I know she couldn't sit in our jump seats. I just know she couldn't. And in real life, you can fit in the jump seat and you can get the harness over you. Great. One step past that, which no one really talks about, frequently, if you're in the forward of most airlines, there are 2 jump seats. And many times on anything, in our aircraft, it's A320 or A321, you're going to be sitting next to someone. Those jump seats are this close together. If you get 2 people of any size trying to get into their brace positions, it's intimate, I think, to say the least. You're close. You're making friends. And it can be uncomfortable if you get 2 people of any particular size. Thank God I don't have a butt, so I'm not like in anyone's way. But it can be intimate. So I'm just saying that. Next, let's get away from the weight. Can you follow directions? So a major part of the thing is, can you follow direction? They're going to give you express direction. They're going to tell you exactly what to say. They're not going to be saying it like, we're going to tell you what to do, follow our directions. They're just going to give you direction. You have to follow it. If you can't follow the simplest of directions, How can I trust that you're going to be able to arm your door or disarm your door or know what to do with a POB? It's a portable oxygen bottle. Can I trust that you know that you have to get that oxygen bottle, how to carry it to the seat, not just carry it, how to put it over your shoulder, how to get it there, how to administer it, what valve to put it onto, how to secure it to underneath the seat with the 2 seatbelt extensions. Can I be assured that you will know what to do in an emergency situation if you can't put a card face down on a table when you're told to? So that almost came across as a rant. Follow direction. If you didn't hear anything else in this video, follow direction. Quit thinking. For example, a passenger passes out and you determine with your coworkers that oxygen is required. Can you think on your feet? Either be the person that gets that oxygen or direct one of your coworkers to get the oxygen. Are you the communicator? Which role are you going to fall into in this emergency situation? You have a seat duplication again. How do you handle it? Quick thinking. What do you do first? You have 2 passengers who are assigned the same seat on the same flight. What's your first thought? Are they on the same flight? Look at their boarding pass. Is it the same flight? Is it the same time? Is it the same destination? People got on airplanes, you would not believe it, that are not going to where we're going. There's all sorts of things. So the first thought might be, can I see everyone's boarding passes? Thank you. Not, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So when this Goldfish Bowl question, they're trying to see, are you quick thinking? Can you kind of think on your feet in front of people? You know, I can solve all sorts of problems on one of my video games. I can solve all sorts of riddles and puzzles when no one's watching and I have time. In an emergency situation or in a situation where people are watching me, can you do it? Am I going to be good? I'm pretty good. And you'll notice again, I did not say that you had the perfect answer. I had the opportunity, and I've mentioned this in another video, I had the opportunity to sit with, for 3 hours on a long flight with our 2 main recruiters. And we had a nice long chat about the process of recruiting. One day I'd like to go into it, but we'll see. And I asked, which is more important, the right answer on the Goldfish Bowl question or the way that it's given, the style, the presentation? And both of them agreed, I think, that it was really about how the answer is given. The answer does not have to be perfect. Your airline is going to give you every answer and every direction they want you to follow in almost every situation during training. So if you don't know the perfect answer to the question you get, now again, become familiar with most of the questions. You'll have most questions on Glassdoor.com or Indeed, but the answer isn't always so perfectly important as to, were you polished? Were you confident? Did you speak clearly? Could people understand you? Did you seem like you were enjoying yourself? And that's something I didn't mention yet, but these aspects are all things that we can't train. Airlines can't train you to be confident, well-spoken, clearly spoken, with a voice that carries a sense of calmness and confidence. These are things that no one can teach you. It's only life experience. So they can give you the right answer. They'll teach you the right answer. I promise. And they'll promise. But it's really the method in which you give that answer. So don't stress. Don't lose your mind over writing on index card. Do what you have to do. But don't stress so much about having the perfect answer to every question. So my experience with my Goldfish Bowl at my event, my hiring event. So we were in line. I was up in front, So we were told to stand up by row. So we would stand up. We were told to walk to the one at a time, walk up to the table in the front of the room where there was an aluminum bowl on a small table. We were told to walk up, state our name and our number that was on our badge, select a question, read the question aloud, answer the question, and then put the card down, face down, in a little stack on the table, and then once again state our name and our number. Because the recruiting people all have sheets of paper there with everyone's name and number, and they're taking notes. So they need to, hear your name and number a couple times, I think. But that's the direction, and then go and sit down. The directions are very simple, but you would not believe the number of people who could not follow direction. The cards went in their pocket. They threw them back in the Goldfish Bowl. They put them on a different part of the table. I mean, all manner of things that they didn't say their name. They didn't read the question out loud. All sorts of crazy stuff. If you can't follow direction by reading a question and putting it in, following their direction, how can I trust as your coworker that you're going to arm your door properly, that you're going to check your safety equipment? Because sometimes we might need that equipment. How can I be rest assured that you know your job and you're going to follow your job and follow direction every time without supervision? So we did that. Let's see where I got lost. I got sidetracked. So I got my question. I answered the question, and then I sat down. So the person, a few people before me, he got up and he said, his question was, what are two things you're afraid of? And he said, I'm afraid of dying and I'm afraid of drowning. I'm afraid of dying alone and I'm afraid of drowning. Wow. Pretty heavy. And the next girl was this Haitian girl who I mentioned earlier. She got the question, what time in history would you like to go back to and why? And she talked about the earthquake in Haiti and how she'd like to go back to Haiti and be prepared to help other people. And wonderful answer, full of heart and full of love. I understood her answer in context. I kind of pulled those elements out of what she said. It was a good long 5 minutes, and we were all kind of leaning forward like, what did whatever. And then I got the question, what do you do in your free time? I was not expecting something so simple and easy, but I said that, wow, that's easier than the last question, haha. I am a potter, I'm an artist, and most people don't know what a potter is, so I say, think of Ghost, the movie Ghost without the dead people throwing pots. And there was a good laugh. Someone in the crowd, I think it's Brittany, said, oh, yeah. And she waved, she's also a potter. And I said, oh, we'll have to exchange recipes, and so what I think I did right there was I was light, I was confident, I spoke clearly, I spoke concisely, which is very rare for me, and it was easygoing. I was having a good time. And then I, did my thing, I followed directions, and I sat down. So, two things that I thought of while I was talking, which got me sidetracked. Two things. One big giant tip: have a good time, or at least pretend you're having a good time. You know how many dates you've been on that you really didn't like, but you were just getting through it and you're trying to have a nice time? Worst case, pretend to have a good time, because the energy will show. If you imagine, look back to any high school or college graduation you've been to, you've watched the person get across the stage, grab their diploma, shake hands, move along. You instantly go to look for the next person who's standing on stage, listening for their name. You're looking right at them. know that right before you're asked to go up and answer the question, people are looking at you. So be mindful of your posture, smile, look at ease, look like you're having a nice time. And then when you're going to sit down, I'll tell you, I promise you, the recruiters are looking to see when you go back to your seat, do you sit down and go, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that? Or, oh my God, that was the worst answer ever. Are you crying? Do you sit back down like, oh, thank God that's over. Oh, this is a job interview still. And they want to see, how did you just handle the stress of getting up there and doing that whole thing? So you're on stage before you're on stage. And that point I made about having a good time. I can't stress how much importance there is on your energy when you're at that event. The whole day. Now, it could be, my day was 14 hours long. It was 14 hours long. I made sure to have good posture the entire time. I maintained a smile and an ease the whole time. And I pretended sometimes, but genuinely, I had a great time during the hiring event. I met amazing people who all wanted the same thing I did. So when you're at the Goldfish Bowl and you're stressed out and you're freaking out, treat this as if it were a date with someone you really like and you want to see again. You don't want to marry them, but you want to see them again and see what's going to happen next, So I'm not sure if they have speed dating anymore, but way back before the internet, we had things called speed dating. You would go to a bar or a restaurant and sit at a table, and you'd have a minute or 2 minutes with one person. Then a bell would ring or something would happen, and you'd have to move on to the next person. So when I go to a hiring event or an interview, I kind of pretend it's kind of like speed dating. I want to present my best self in a nugget of time, smiling, having a nice time, and presenting myself as genuinely as possible, while still being likable, because sometimes I'm not. But I have talked for a real long time on what will no doubt be a 30-second snippet of your interview. So I apologize for taking too much time, but there's a lot of small elements, I think, that play with each other during something like this Goldfish Bowl question. And it does provide people with a lot of anxiety. So don't be nervous. If you are nervous, channel that into something like anticipation instead of anxiety, All right, so leave a comment below, leave a question. If I missed something, because I talk so much, usually I touch on almost all points, but if you feel I missed something, leave a comment below. If you have a question, leave it below. Give the video a thumbs up if you'd like to, no pressure, and subscribe. I would love that. I am still in awe that there's anybody listening to these videos, or watching them. So thank you, subscribe, and I will no doubt make another video probably later on today if I'm not called for a trip. There's lots to say. All right, you have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Fly safe. Bye.